We're live here this hour. It's now 6:07. You're on Ask the Expert this hour with 757 House Whisperer with your friend, Mr. Chuck Worley. Welcome, Chuck.
How you guys doing?
Hey.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. Every week, this is a fun production. We get to hang out with Damien, and tonight, well, y'all know our sponsors. Of course, I'm Chuck Worley with Worley's Home Services. We got Tommy Hines with the Perfect Home Remedy. He's the money guy who will figure out how to help you. Mike Davenport with CVP, Custom Vinyl Products, and that's a manufacturing plant in this area. So these windows are actually made in Newport News, Virginia. But our specialist tonight is Albin. Albin does home remodels, new construction, any questions that you guys might have about any type of construction going on inside the house. He is the brain whiz for that. And then, of course, we got Big Bad Jason from Pyramid Roofing, Roof and Slate Architecture, whatever brands he recommends, I just say go, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we can talk about tonight. But our specialist tonight is home remodeling, new construction, and then roofing. So those are the questions I want you guys calling in. Anything having to do with the house, you may call in. This is the 7757 House Whisperer Show. Houses talk to me. Everything about a house we can figure out. We can give you answers to problems that you're having in the house. Obviously, my specialist is our specialist. Am I a specialist? I'm a specialist. And heating and air conditioning, plumbing, electrical, crawl spaces, attic insulation, spray foam. Please call in about anything going on in your house today. Don't wait to the last minute of the show to call in, where we got 8 phone calls coming in the last 2 minutes of the show. So we got a lot of things we want to talk about tonight. We do want to bring out our trivia question that I'm going to blame Damien for not reminding me to give the answer last week. So we left y'all on a cliffhanger last week. So you've had all week to think about how many deaths in the United States happen from carbon monoxide poisoning. I promise Damon will not let me forget this time. We're going to give the answer. We did have one answer, and he was said a couple thousand a year. That was the wrong answer. That was not what we were looking for. But how many deaths per year for carbon monoxide deaths, not poisoning? Believe it or not, I will tell you this part. There is tens of thousands of people that go to the emergency room every single year thinking that they are just sick with the flu, because it is flu-like symptoms is carbon monoxide poisoning. So I even think I told you about a friend of mine that him and his wife, literally, if he wouldn't have fell and cut his head open, she would not have called the emergency room, because he's like, I'm fine. It's a slow, it just puts you to sleep. It just puts you to sleep, and you don't wake up. And that is bad. That is bad. So that's the trivia this week, is the carbon monoxide deaths in the United States according to carbon monoxide in a house. So I do want to ask any to call in last week. I really thank you guys. We had 8 callers last week just talking about different houses. I mean, we had a spray foam question. We had insulation questions. We had crawl space questions. I do have a couple notes here. I wanted to say thank you to Mrs. Sawyer in Chesapeake. She was so kind. I do call every single person that calls into the show and thank them for calling in. Miss Ruth, we're coming out to see her this week, and me and Tommy are getting her with Tommy, because she needs some kind of special financing for, I think it's called senior citizen, like loan program that Tommy's got. Really, really, he is the money guy. If you got anything that you need financially, he really has a couple, anything from reverse mortgages to lines of credit. The guy's a genius when it comes to money. We're really grateful to have him as a partner in our show. And then Miss Marjorie, I'm getting you a proposal. I went and saw her yesterday. She had some sump pump issues last week. She had called in about some sump pump issues, which, she had somebody come out to the house and try and club her over the head for what was it, 38? I mean, it was some stupid number. It was like $40,000 for a sump pump. And again, that's not what we do here. We want to find you great contractors that you guys can trust to come and take care of your home. And then Charlie, I know I was going to joke about that. Charlie, I'm going to see him next Tuesday. I was on my way to his house, and Virginia Power decided to drop the juice to his house. So it was a little hard to walk around his house when there's no power at his house. So we're getting back this week, and it's kind of cool. This is a small world. The 757 is a really small world. We went out last week and gave an estimate to somebody that was having some. Their panel was full, and we didn't want to just come out and just give them a price for replacing their whole panel. We kind of gave them some options on, all right, we can do this first. We can run this circuit. He had told me yesterday when I talked to him that, he had two 115 volt, 120 volt breakers with nothing hooked up to them. And he had a full panel. So he's thinking that he has a full panel when actually two of the breakers weren't even being used. So that's the kind of stuff that we'll do is come out and say, hey, look, these are your options. And it turns out I am good friends with his mama, Miss Nations. So it is a small world, man. You have to do good things around here because everybody knows everybody. It's all connected. I want to let you know that our service area for all of our contractors are basically the Virginia line all the way to New Kent to Wano area. So I say the 757, even though New Kent's kind of teasing the 804. 804. We're not going to Richmond. So if you're listening from Richmond, we ain't coming. It's just too far. We can't provide the service that we can right here. I mean, Justin, y'all have an office with Pyramid Roofing. You got an office in Williamsburg. You got an office in Hampton, and an office all the way in Virginia Beach, right?
It's actually in Norfolk, Chuck. But,
that's right. That's right. I'm sorry.
Our like you were saying with that service area, I mean, that's basically right in our realm. We do go out as far as kind of like Carsville. We're not going to go to Emporia too much, but Franklin, that's right in the mix. We're happy to go see anybody, truthfully.
Yeah, we just wanted. I know you wanted to kind of talk about one of our callers last week was they called in about spray foam and roof, and you heard the thing, and I know the hair on the back of your neck kind of popped up. Now, what I will say is to kind of catch you guys up, if you didn't hear our show last week, was the guy called in about spray foam in the back of the roof deck. So underneath the shingles, when you're standing in your attic looking up at the nails coming through the plywood, the shingles are on the opposite side towards the sun, on the opposite side out. You're standing in the attic, you're looking up, and there are companies that will spray foam the back of the roof deck, which we can do it. I mean, we have done it. It can be done. But as I said to a roofer, he has a couple opinions on that. And I think it's important to talk about the pros and cons of every job, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it can be done. It will drop the temperature in your attic is going to be 80-something degrees. I mean, it's great. But there are some backsides, right?
No, yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it really depends on what your focus is, with what you want to do in your attic. Anything can be done, but in particular, I mean, I distinctly remember one job out in Seaford, right on the water, beautiful view, but every storm that they had, roofs are not waterproof. They're water resistant. So you get a little bit of moisture in there, and then if you can't find it because the spray foam's in between the rafters, all you can really do is just start tearing things apart and hoping for the best. It was a nightmare. Of course, we did fix it. It got a little bit more involved than normal, but we got to it.
But I mean, you got to cut the spray foam out of the way. You got to follow the leak. We were talking about let's say you're lucky enough to have a stand-up attic, right?
True.
Not everybody does, because I'm a chubby guy. I ain't trying to get in the 3 foot, 2.5 foot attic space.
No,
I like big attic spaces, right?
Yeah.
But let's say you're lucky enough to be in an attic that you can stand up in, and the leak is 8 foot in the air, right? So you're at eye level.
Yep.
But I see the leak at 4 foot.
Absolutely.
So where am I going to start cutting into the spray foam? where I see the leak.
Well, you are, but, everybody knows water runs downhill.
It does, but you got to start where you see it, right? So you start cutting into it, and then you're like, oh, I got to go further up, and then I got to go further up. Now we got, a 10-foot section all cut out. You've not wasted money, but
No,
that's
but there's a lot of labor involved in removing that stuff. So, once you get it open and, hopefully you can track it that way. But, water can also run left and right. So if you've got to go out 2-3 rafters to the left, 3 or 4 rafters to the right, you might be up to 100 square foot that we got to remove that just to find the problem.
Yeah. That's I do say you can remove spray foam, but you have to do it on purpose.
It's not easy. It's not easy to get that stuff off.
It's
it's all about serviceability.
Right,
you got to have the ability to service the house you're in. So when you're a homeowner, you got to think like a homeowner. Say, I've got to be able to keep this house up, and you start putting stuff like that on. You start to diminish the options you have to repair it or keep up with it or inspect it.
Yeah, so hopefully all of our listeners do maintenance to their house. That's what we're talking about, is taking care of the house, doing maintenance. It's hard to do maintenance when you can't see the problem, right?
No, but a lot of my guys, they are factory trained. We have a specific way that we address everything. And, over at Pyramid Roofing, we want to be a little bit different than everybody else.
Sure.
We just got to take it case-by-case basis, truthfully.
Yeah, that's a good point you were talking about in Seaford, where right on the water, or any water, Virginia Beach, wherever, we have salt water here. So you've got air blowing underneath. So maybe go into that a little bit, like when you were talking about moisture in between the decks, kind of explain how that happens. Like you got air, moisture, water coming off the water, especially waterfront property, right? It's
Yes.
going up in between. Kind of explain some of the bad things that can happen with that to help our listeners.
So it doesn't really have to be particularly on the water, but, when the rain comes, you get the wind, you get it out of the right direction at the right intensity, and, yes, it's supposed to the shingles are supposed to, shed the water down the roof. But when you add a little bit of wind intensity on that, instead of it coming straight down, it'll actually get blown back up the roof. So it'll get into the keyways of the shingles, and then you get to your fasteners. Your fasteners are just galvanized roofing nails. They can get destroyed quick.
Yeah.
They're not aluminum nails.
So I want to remind you guys to call in 757-627-7979, 627-7979. We got the roofing expert in here. Any questions about any type of roof, Justin is the man. He will be able to answer your questions. We got Alvin here. Any home improvement things from bathrooms to kitchens, any type of improvements that you're thinking about doing in the house, we can answer. So 627-7979, and our phone number is 757-955-9415. I had recruited my beautiful fiance, Miss Julie, to man that phone. So if you text, she'll be able to get the question to me or answer the phone. But please call in so we can answer your questions.
We'll be right back with more right here on the Ask the Expert Show with 757 House Whisperer with Chuck Worley and the gang. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. News time 6:23 here on AM 790 WNIS. 757housewhisperer.com is the website to go to, or feel free to call 757 House Whisperer at 955-9415. Welcome back, Chuck.
Welcome back. I forgot. Thank you, Mike. He is awesome, always keeping us straight in here. I forgot to tell you about the free Starbucks card when you call in and either answer the trivia question, take your shot, answer the trivia question, or call in about any type of house issue. The House Whisperer is all about fixing houses, taking care of the people in the 757, answering questions about your house. We've got a call coming in, it looks like from Vince. Squeaky, good.
Yeah, we've got Vince. Welcome, Vince. Hey, Vince, got to do us a favor. Listen through your phone, not the radio. But again, we're live here this hour. Still room for phone calls, 6:25 on the clock. How's it going, Vince?
Oh, man, it's all It's all good. How y'all doing?
We are doing well, man. Having fun on the radio.
Man, I'll tell you, you guys are doing it right. Just living on the airwaves. But that's cool. Listen, I got a question, maybe two if I can squeeze it in. But the first question, well, the main question is about Squeaky Floors. I'm in a house, it's the original homeowner, lived in there for 34 years now, bought the house, original owner in 1990. Second floor room over the garage kind of thing, finished room over the garage. Still has rug in there. It's the original rug. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, it's squeaky, and it's gotten worse on the squeakiness. When you're walking around, you can hear that thing, and my wife complains about it now when she's on the family room downstairs, and she can hear that squeakiness. I mean, can you still repair that, kind of find the studs, drill nails in there? I mean, rip out the carpet, or just kind of, how do you fix squeaky floors?
You want to take that, Mr. Albin?
Well, you probably have gone the one solution, and that's to walk around the squeaky parts. But you're probably tired of that
he doesn't like
solution,
where the roof leaks, so he just walks around the other part of the house. Right?
So, but no, really, those are hard to find sometimes, but I think you're onto something when you talk about pulling the carpet back up, or, maybe get it out of the way. We can get you in touch with the carpet guy. You can pull the carpet back, and basically you'd want to find those joists and screw it all off, and screw it off well. Most likely it was nailed off, maybe not glued and nailed, so therein lies the problem.
Right. I mean, you got to do something to the structure of it, right? So either 2x10, 2x8. You got to strengthen. I mean, you got noise going on somewhere there. So like you said,
it's
glue,
most likely the plywood rubbing against each other, or rubbing against the nails that have come loose, or rubbing against the actual joist. So if you can get in there and screw down that subfloor better, not nail it, screw it down, and you're going to have a much better floor. And
what kind of subfloor is it? Is it the press board stuff? Is it plywood? Or you have carpet down, so you don't know?
It's carpet, so I really don't know. But I'm guessing it's got to be some press board maybe, or even plywood. But would those things in time warp? I mean, temperature, whatever, would those things warp to the point where it would cause that squeakiness?
I mean, you said the garage is under it, right?
Have you had that carpet for 30 years, or you've changed it out?
Yeah, because I'm in a finished room over the garage. So,
okay. Yeah, it's to me, it's my number one go-to on that would be to actually attack the subfloor and attach it better to the joist. That would be my first step in that whole process.
Which means the carpet has to come up.
Yeah,
right?
Carpet has to come up. Doesn't mean you have to throw it away. It just means that you need to actually pull it back, screw it down, and then have somebody come and stretch the carpet again if it's still in good shape.
I mean, if it's 30 years old, I'm thinking that's...
Yeah, it's probably done for.
Yeah, it's probably... I mean, didn't you say there was no foam?
You didn't have any pad underneath there?
I'm sure there is, and it doesn't feel like this because it's so old and it's been walked over. My son, my 36-year-old son now pretty much grew up in that room as a child and teenager, but he's long since moved out. But if I'm going to pull that off there, I guess it's a great time to consider putting down some laminate or some bamboo, some wood floor.
Just my thoughts. Yeah, you probably want to get rid of that carpet like everybody else is doing.
Yeah.
But,
that was a good question. We got about 2 minutes. Can you squeeze in that other question?
Oh, I'm going to do that because I have an original roof on my house, 34 years, and it's the old shingle, and it's looking ugly with the algae or whatever grows on that and stains it, and you can see where the stains are running. And I thought, so I'm looking at it, should I go with that architectural, or should I be thinking about metal roof? Should I be thinking about what's the latest and greatest? And I'm not really out to drop, $8,000 or $12,000 either. I mean, I know that a roof can probably run about $6,000, $6,500, but I want to get in. I don't plan on moving. I don't plan on going anywhere. I've been in there 30 years. If anything, maybe one of my sons will move in there when I'm long, gone. But what do you recommend on a roof nowadays?
Yeah, we've just got a couple of seconds left, but So if you're at 34 years now, just go buy a lottery ticket because you have gotten every bit of life you're ever going to get out of that roof.
I did.
The easiest thing I can say is honestly just it's a case-by-case basis depending what materials you want. But if you don't want to ever have to worry about that algae again, Pyramid Roofing's actually partnered with Atlas, our supplier of the manufacturer, and the algae is guaranteed never to show up again on the architectural shingles.
That's awesome.
Right.
So we'll get Justin out there in the next few days.
Yeah, let me take a look at it. Let me
take a look at it.
Let me
Thanks
see what
for
you
calling in.
Yeah. A real quick break, gentlemen, and we'll be right back right after the news break here on News Talk 790 WNIS. Feel free to call 757-HOUSE Whisperer directly at 955-9415, 955-9415, or online 757housewhisperer.com, and join us here on this live Ask the Expert show with 757 House Whisperer this hour. Another half hour to go, so join us on the other side of the break. It's News Talk 790 WNIS. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back here to News Talk 790 WNIS and online at WNIS.com. Click the Listen Live button and listen everywhere. Every day from 6 to 7 with Ask the Expert, and every Wednesday with 757 House Whisperer from 6 to 7. You can join the gang off the air. Call for your free consultation at 955-9415, 955-9415, or online at 757housewhisperer.com. Welcome back, Chuck.
Let's get some calls in here. 627-7979. 627-7979. Let's get some calls in here asking about, we have two specialists in here, roofing and home improvements, whether it's bathrooms, kitchens, remodels, additions, new construction, any questions you have about building, of course, heating and air conditioning, electrical, plumbing with us. Man, last week we had like a mirage of different calls. It seemed like every trade called in. So this week we want you guys to call in, and these are our specialists. So we want to hear from you so we can answer your questions. Back to the trivia question. The trivia question is, how many deaths a year in the United States happen from carbon monoxide? Carbon monoxide. I told you there's tens of thousands of people that die from carbon monoxide, get sick from carbon monoxide poisoning. One of the things that you have to look out for if you feel like you have flu-like symptoms, that is a key. That if you're at home and you feel like crap, if you're at your office and you feel okay, and you come back home and you feel like, you need to probably open a window. So,
Chuck, you got services for that where you come out and check for
we
that
do.
stuff?
So if you have a gas furnace, if you have a gas bill, the chances of a gas carbon monoxide happening, if you have a gas meter, you have a gas bill, you have the potential to have carbon monoxide in your house. Carbon monoxide detectors versus carbon monoxide monitors. Monitors actually have numbers on them where, hey, it's 10 parts per million, 30 parts per million, 300 parts per million, which that means run out of that house, open a window. I think and if you have a fireman listening, I believe a fireman had to put on their mask at 35 parts per million when they walk into a house, because of course they have meters and stuff like on. So I believe at 35. So wouldn't you want to know if you had 25 parts per million just kind of floating around your house? So these are the types of things you're going to learn how many deaths this year, but it is thousands and thousands of people that actually get poisoned from a water heater leaking. We went on a water heater job the other day. One of my plumbers sent me a picture. He goes out there. This water heater was put in like a year ago, and it was a gas water heater. I guess they replaced the roof, not by Pyramid. Somebody had replaced the roof, knocked it loose, and it literally has been blowing carbon monoxide into their attic for, a year. Who knows? Maybe a week ago it fell down, but the chances are it fell down when someone was banging on the roof, right? Someone's running around on the roof. How many times you go in, you're like, man, that thing is loose. What? So
guaranteed, Chuck.
Yeah,
guaranteed. So, when you do any kind of, it doesn't even have to be repair work or even a new roof. The wind comes through. If you're looking up at your roof and you see that HVAC stack leaning a little bit, Well, let's better safe than sorry.
Let's look.
Yeah, I'd rather say that you're good to go than, the other side of that.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys are looking at collars and stuff when you're doing
everything,
inspections.
everything.
I mean, the collars are important because that's probably the big start on leaks.
It is a very big wear item. Your pipe collars, those ventilate your bathroom, sinks, just basically everything in your house. And when those collars start going bad, they do go bad around the 7 to 10 year mark. It's just the sun beats on them, dry rots them out, and next thing you know, you start seeing water spots.
Now, Justin, I've got a question on that. And me and my wife were just talking about this the other day. And we're talking about those vents, those typical white PVC pipes. They're white or black, and they stick out the top of everybody's roof right above the bathroom or whatnot.
Absolutely.
But why don't those go through the wall, and why do they go through the ceiling and not the sideways? Why don't they hit a 90 degree and go out the side?
To be honest
So
with you,
PVC is a yes. You can do that with PVC because it's a 90% furnace or 90% water heater. The metal ones have to go straight up. In fact, the code is...
Well, I get that with the combustible gases, but just the one from the bathroom. That's just a vent for the sewage gas. Why doesn't that take a 90 and go out of the wall where it's not going to cause a roof leak?
You know what? Maybe you need to change the world.
Question.
You need to...
Some of that has to do with plumbing code. You can't tie them all together, so you got to have multiples. And it's a fair question.
It's because the plumbers are not roofers. That's why.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it could be a thing of what's the attic wall is 48 feet away. The roof is right there. So you're going 12 foot. A fan that blows 60 or pulls 60, like a fart fan, right? So sorry for the phrase, but that's what it is.
It is.
It's
what
a
it
fart
is.
fan, right? Those things that in new construction, the cheapest ones that they can get are 60 to 60. Probably 40 to 60, right? On CFM, 40 to 60 CFM.
Some at $125 a pop for 100 CFM.
Yeah, so you can get the ones that we put in, like the 100 CFM, 120 CFM. Well, they have the power to push, 60, 70 feet away and go out a sidewall, like the metal ones, not the PVC ones, but the metal ones going out. Everything goes back to code.
Most of those PVC pipes, though, they got to be vented within a certain distance of the actual fixture. So you can't go, if I understand it correctly, somebody could call in and correct us, but I don't think you can move laterally for 20, 30 feet and then pop it out.
What reminds me of that is a flue pipe. Sorry to cut you off there. The reminds me of the code on a flue pipe is you can only go 75%. Okay, so vertically, you can only go 75% of the vertical horizontally to the vertical. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
So if you go up 10 foot, you can't go more than 7.5 foot horizontally.
Well,
every 10 foot. So it's... there is codes that for safety, especially with carbon monoxide,
it's because it's got to have a good upflow.
That's correct. It has to have draft. Yeah, it has to have draft and go out. But what you were talking about with fans and fart fans and stuff like that, typically those
I'm mainly
are
thinking that one.
metal.
Yeah.
We do run out sidewalls if we can, but like a fart fan or a dryer or exhaust. a dryer exhaust. Those maximum, you're only supposed to go 35 feet. So here's the problem with 35 linear feet. Every 90 degree is 5 foot. Do the math on that. So it's 25 foot linear feet and 2 90s. So it's not 35 foot anymore. It's 25 foot. Well, if I got a 75-foot house, there's no way I'm getting to the sidewalls. I got to go through the roof.
Well, you can, but here's the other thought, though. If they do go horizontally through the outside of the exterior, what's going to stop birds, critters from trying to make a house in there? And then, okay, you're going to have to put a cover over it, but now you're actually starting to block what can actually get out of it.
Well, you also have the gases that are escaping that are going to be near your windows, possibly, and different things like that. And,
nobody wants a fart fan next to their window.
Nah.
It defeats the purpose.
Well, it's
surprising. PVC pipes are not just for venting; they're actually to. Some of them are called wet vents, and they actually have other functions other than just outgassing.
Sure. Well, people would be surprised at how many people listening right now, their bathroom exhaust fan just goes into the attic.
Right.
It's a lot of people. So all that moist
I cannot
shower
tell
air.
you how many times we see that. You have mold and mildew in the attics, and you're like, what in the world? You're just, all that steam coming out of your shower is blowing right up into your attic. I mean, there's people that use the flex lines, and we don't. It's all supposed to be hard pipe for a reason. So
Chuck, I'm sure you've seen it before. The people that actually take like an 8D nail or something and just tack that up next to a rafter close to a vent. Good luck. There's an actual flange that is supposed to go to a brawn vent that has a damper on top of it. You turn that fart fan on, everything goes out.
That's right.
Turn the fan off, damper closes, no backfeeding on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we see that. We said, you want to grab Fran?
Yeah, we've
Thanks
got
for holding on.
Fran in Virginia Beach on the line. Welcome, Fran.
Hi, thank you so much. And in advance, I appreciate any recommendations you could give me as far as what type of contractor I need. So I had an addition built on the back of my house about 35 years ago, and included in that addition was a room that had 3 steps going down. So who knows? I have no clue if at the time it was following the code or not. I know, I'm at sea level. I'm a few blocks from the ocean. So, kind of like a little basement. And I have my washer and dryer in there. But here's what's been happening recently. We've had some very, very heavy rains, and the west side of my house, which is where this laundry room has an exterior door, can get quite a bit of rain. I had it draining outdoors, through some concrete that seemed to be getting the water drained well, but for whatever reason, recently it stays there quite a bit. And what's happened is the floor, the cinder block floor of this laundry room is wet. So the water is coming, obviously, from underground up into my cinder block, foundation area where the laundry room floor is. So I can't keep any mats down there. So I don't know if I need a sump pump in that room, but I guess the bigger question is why, after 35 years, am I all of a sudden having water that's coming up through the ground into my cinder block laundry room flooring?
Well, there could be a lot of reasons for that. And so might have to ask you a couple questions, or I can throw a couple things out there. You want to get water. Water is not your friend. It's not a friend in a lot of ways. So you want to try to get that water away from the house. I know you mentioned that you are at or near sea level. So I don't know if you have a way to get that water away from your house. Some things that could happen is clogged gutters, gutters that aren't draining right, gutters that are draining into places they shouldn't, or you start if you like gardening, you could have built up flower beds for the last 30 years. It's causing, water to pool.
I've seen that.
And so if you said you had some way of getting that water away from your house before and it's not working now, I suggest attacking that first, and getting that water away from the house is probably going to alleviate most of the problem. Of course, you could also waterproof that outside wall. You could, pull. But some of these issues that you're dealing with is probably, just drainage issues where you want to get that water away from your house.
Yeah, Albin will definitely give you a call to kind of follow up with you, but definitely probably need to get him out there to take a look at it. You were asking why things change. Code changes every single year. They're constantly, every single city has their opinions, right? But Lord, help us with their opinions. But we love all cities. Hopefully no inspectors are listening. We love all inspectors. We love all cities. But everybody has their opinion on how the code is being read, right? So the code changes every single year. We're trying to increase the efficiencies of houses. We're trying to increase the safety of the houses. We're trying to improve the quality of the houses, and which is why, I know we pull permits on every single job that we do. It's just really, really important to trying to improve the houses. So the codes are changing, but houses change, right? Houses settle. Houses paint, it's just maintenance needs to be done on the house. So much stuff.
Well, I'll throw you this one out, Chuck, and I've seen it. The house I grew up in is not even necessarily your house. Fran might have the issue that now changed, but your neighbor's house. If they bulldozed your neighbor's house and built a new house beside it, now it's up a little bit higher, and all that flood water might be in your yard, where we've had to dig a vertical French drain just to get that out of there. And being next to the beach, you can do a vertical pretty easily.
Yeah.
One other question, though, is your water bill hasn't gone up, right? You're not having if your water bill's going up, it could be that you have a leak in your house and it's the culprit. I mean, so look at that water bill, see if you had some huge increase, and that could be part of the problem.
Yeah, and I'll tell you a story to that is you don't know what you don't know until you know it, right? But I had I'm in the middle. I live on a 5-acre farm and in Tab, Virginia, and it's in Yorktown. And the guy was building houses all around us, and I have got a 1,000-foot driveway, like just a dirt, gravel driveway. And I'm driving down the road, so I called a builder because I see this humongous puddle in the middle of one of the yards or lots, I guess. So I'm trying to be a nice neighbor, so I called him and said, hey, look, you got a leak here. And he's like, I don't have a leak. And I'm like, all right. So like 2 months goes by, I get like a $3,000 water bill. I'm like, I wonder, I was trying to be nice to the neighbor. It turned out I should have been nice to myself and looked at my water bill. But yeah, I got this $3,000 water bill so water, these things can happen. Sometimes they can leak underneath your house. They can leak in your front yard.
It could also be a sewage problem too.
Well, this was supply water. We were blessed, and they did forgive us. That's true. That could be.
Chuck, it actually just happened to me. My through that thaw we had there was Monday. The supply line to my detached garage let loose. It was luckily I got good neighbors and they told me quick, but it happened to me.
It can happen. Yeah, the freeze. Everybody's like, oh man, because of course doing plumbing, everybody calls us, but oh man, this freeze. No, it's not the freeze. It's the melting. Nothing leaks when everything's frozen. Right. It's the next day when it goes to 68 degrees, we got all hell busting loose. I mean, just water everywhere underneath houses and stuff. But yeah, Fran, thanks for the call. We'll definitely get you that Starbucks gift card for calling in. And Albin could definitely come out. There's just some problems that we really do need to put our eyeballs on. There's so many variables to houses.
Well, we maybe got your head thinking about it. So, before I get out there, you'll probably have some other things to think about and then talk to me about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
A call from Alvin.
Yes, ma'am. I'll give you a shout.
Very good. I appreciate it. Thanks for your help. Bye-bye.
You have a good night.
So, yeah, call in 627-7979. We got room for maybe one more caller. We got about, 9-10 minutes? So we got room for one or two more callers, 627-7979. Call in about your house. Any problems in your house, we can help you.
6:55 here at News Talk 790 WNIS on Ask the Expert with your friends from 757 House Whisper, 757housewhisper.com, or give a call, get a free consultation directly to 757 House Whisper at 955-9415. We'll repeat that number before the end of the show, 955-9415.
All right. So the lady that was talking a few minutes ago, what was her name?
Fran.
So Fran called in, started talking about water in her house. The main cause of damage to a house, the death of a house, is what? Water.
I would say water. Yeah, for
moisture.
Sure.
The death of a house is moisture, water. I mean, in crawl spaces.
Roofs.
You got roof. I mean, roofs was the call this week, but it is just the death of the house. So I had a home inspector tell me one time, he said, the worst thing that could happen to a house is water, moisture getting into it, whether it's crawl space, whether it's attic or roof leak or water pipe leak in between the walls. A friend of mine also told me that only the lucky people see the leak.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
No.
I mean,
you know what that water brings too, though. That's when things start growing. That's when critters start looking.
Well, that gets back to what you were saying about the lucky person finds the leak. I mean, we were talking about the spray foam to the bottom of the roof. Could you imagine not finding that leak from how long if you had it on there?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy.
Absolutely. And, water, leaks out of in the roof, then gets into the attic, then leaks down inside the wall, and you don't even know until your window falls out, right?
Or you step through the floor or something.
Yeah, something crazy. So water and moisture is the death of a house. This home inspector, his joke was, the worst thing that can happen to a house is water. The second worst thing is a homeowner trying to fix something himself. The third thing is a bad contractor. So those were the top three. This home inspector gave me the news, and he said, those are the top three things that destroy a house. Water, moisture, right? A homeowner trying to fix his own house, or a bad contractor. Top three.
Every time.
Oh, my goodness. Well, make sure you call us at 955-9415, 757-955-9415. So how much time do we got left? 2.5 minutes.
So,
all
Chuck,
right.
How many times do you run across people that call you up that say, I'm halfway through a DIY and I need help?
That's a great question, Albin. That is a really, really good question. We typically it's a Facebook PM or private message. Hey, so my husband tried to fix this thing, and can you just swing by, and hang out with it, hey, say hi, and look at this thing that my husband is fixing. I'll get a lot of calls up. Hey, what about this? Can we fix it this way? Look, we love helping people, right? You didn't get into the service industry not to serve people, right? So the goal is to help people. I can help you with that one small thing, and when you have a big thing, you're going to cost to do that. You're not going to try and replace your own heat pump. I mean, I'll help you with something. I'll try and reach out back and say, yeah, fix this, or you did that. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times. The funniest one I have is a friend of mine calls and says, look, I'm going to tune up my own air conditioner. How do I do it? I said, well, you do this, get a garden hose, you can spray out that thing. So anyway, he's like, look, I'm going to save. Our maintenance agreement is $195 a year. That's for 2 visits. Like, it's nothing, right? It's less than $100 for the heating and the cooling. It's $195. So he goes, I'm going to do it myself. He's an engineer. He goes, tell me how to do it. So I tell him everything and over the phone, right? Because I'm not coming out there. So we go out there, and he ends up forgetting to turn the switch back on. So I ended up paying $90 for us to come out and fix and turn the switch on for him. So he spent $90 on us flipping the switch instead of doing the whole tune-up ourselves. It's just crazy.
20 seconds. You got to give us the trivia question winner.
Oh, the trivia question is 620 deaths a year.
All right.
620 seconds. Yeah,
Well,
it's
we're out of time. 757housewhisperer.com.
Thank you for remembering.
955-9415, 955-9415. See you next Wednesday.
Provide Quality Home Services, who's entirely responsible for its content.